Yeah, you hit pretty good for a girl.
Welcome back to It's Too Bad, the show where we watch terrible movies and try to find the good in them. Today we have a really interesting one. I'm Ted.
I'm Jason, and this movie is just too funky. It is the 1991 Cool as Ice.
Cool as Ice. It was Vanilla Ice playing a motorcycle riding rapper.
Which is basically Vanilla Ice.
Well, actually, I don't know. I didn't know if that was all him. Good for him.
I feel like it was his 8 Mile.
Yeah,
and so it wasn't exactly him, but it was like how he perceived himself to be.
Do you think he wants a do-over?
Yeah.
I do too. I think this one really missed the mark on a lot of things, but that is for our podcast. This is to see the good things in this movie. And as this is the first time I've watched it, was this your first?
I grew up with this movie.
Oh,
we
explains
rented
a lot.
it a lot.
Really?
And the thing was, it wasn't like a good movie to me back then. It was hilariously bad.
Okay.
The catchphrases and everything have stayed in my vernacular because of how
Forever.
bad it is.
Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Who was the audience of this PG movie? All of a sudden he wanted to be in a weird romantic comedy?
Was it a romantic comedy?
Was it a comedy?
I don't know.
Was it supposed to be a comedy?
This is the biggest problem we have with this movie is we
Okay.
have no idea what it is.
Right.
50% of it looks like a music video.
Yes.
Which, okay, if that's the style you want to
then
take.
go with it.
And then the other half seems like it's an ABC family movie
Absolutely.
or a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I said like a Disney Channel original.
Yeah,
This
there
could've-
you go.
The name itself screams Disney Channel original. And
Absolutely. So the director is really a lot of the blame here.
a lot of the blame.
it. Sure, you have a script that doesn't know what it wants to be.
Right.
But it's the director's job to pull out of the actors what the movie is. And I feel like he was very hands-off. Like Vanilla Ice had his idea of what the movie was going to be and didn't know how anybody else would turn out, but he knew exactly how he was going to turn out.
Right. So like he was just going to go in and he didn't need any help. I'm going to be Vanilla Ice. So you just take Vanilla Ice and put him in a movie, okay?
Right.
Then you have your family, the girl and the weird family, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the motorcycle repairing old people that were, all
What's their
three of
story?
these are different movies.
Some of these actors played it completely straight. Some of them, it was slapstick. And that doesn't work in one movie.
No, it really doesn't. We didn't need the old people to be that
I
weird.
have no idea why they're like they are. And there's a story there. Like you said, that could have been a movie.
Absolutely.
I want to see that movie now as a prequel to Cool as Ice.
What were they doing? What were they doing? They were waiting for him?
Right. They can fix motorcycles conveniently.
But
so when one of his buddies' motorcycles breaks
Right.
down riding through this town that they're just driving through, how convenient that they have these nice people that'll let them stay.
Yeah.
And they can fix a motorcycle, sort of. And
Yeah, I
not
guess,
really. I don't believe them.
I don't think they can.
No.
They were driving in a suburban neighborhood. How are you going to know that that's the shop? They were doing it from their home.
You assume that this is a small town. And then at one point, one of the characters can't quite figure out what the main street is called.
By the mall, what's that street? Grove Street.
So who knows? I mean, you would think they just drove down the main street and then they saw these people and they could fix
Right.
it. But
Let's talk about the dynamics in just acting in general. Was there something in there that you could pull out and say, actually, they did a pretty good job in spite of everything else? They actually gave a good performance.
I think there's two people that are pretty standout. I think Kathy is a decent actress. She played it straight. And the scenes with Ice are sort of played straight. They're not wacky and whimsical. And so that's good because it didn't make her performance seem way out of line.
Yes.
Also, her father, who's the dad from Family Ties.
Yes.
He has some very serious scenes.
He's the dad of a high school senior that she's on TV for all of her good things that she's done.
4.0.
And, I guess that makes the news of the
Yeah.
town.
Well,
4.0.
there's 3 people in this town.
Like, good for you. He gives like good life lessons, like morals. Yet he's in trouble for like for $500,000.
This guy's in witness protection. That's a bombshell that he drops on his
Dude,
daughter.
Right? It's a bombshell for the whole movie. The people coming to get the money, gives them 24 hours. more than 24 hours go by, they finally do something.
Yeah.
But the dad doesn't seem worried about getting them the money. He just feels like this is just gonna blow over.
Besides him, maybe the boyfriend, he plays a good jerk.
He does.
And-
They did a good job. And again, the old people committed to whatever heck they wanted to do.
They sure did.
They committed. Okay.
That's a different type of acting.
Yeah. I mean,
They
but
did.
they're still acting. I don't believe that those people really act like that. They got together and they said, we're gonna be the kookiest people in the world, which is where they put their house.
Right, yeah.
Their house is a very strange thing. So apparently they're kooky.
It looks like a museum of modern art or something.
Yeah. So let's talk about cinematography here, which you pointed out. You wouldn't think that anyone out of this movie would go on to do anything worthwhile. Just because of where we're at. Everyone should have been fired from that. And the industry should have just pulled them away. But what happens to the cinematographer?
Cinematographer goes on to shoot Schindler's List and Lost World and AI and Catch Me If You Can.
So the number one cinematographer Spielberg works with, 2 years after this, he wins for Schindler's List. And for the rest of his life, he's fine. But 2 years before, he was doing Cool as Ice. What?
This is a very skilled man, obviously.
Yes.
And you know that he wanted this movie to stand out. And so when you're working with a director that's done music video stuff and mainly Playboy, and then some music videos, and Inspector Gadget. The director has this sense of music videos.
Yes.
And so I'm sure that was his direction to the cinematographer. These are the shots we want. They're very, you have crazy wide angle and Dutch angles and everything out of proportion. And they play with that in the scene. There's a scene where there's like a shaker, salt shaker or something.
Yeah.
It's in the foreground. And
then it becomes this huge,
it's a giant salt shaker.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Right.
It doesn't fit the non-fun parts of the movie.
No.
And so I don't feel like it's the cinematographer's fault. There wasn't a bad-looking shot in the whole film.
No.
It just was two different films, and I think that was, once again, the director's fault.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what else can you pull? I mean, you got to do what he says.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I mean, maybe he, first couple jobs, you get what you get.
Yeah.
You don't throw a fit.
Before this was probably the highlight of his career up to this point. He had, the biggest selling artists of the year. And
so that's what I'm saying. Just kind of like Britney Spears on Crossroads. You get a high-selling artist and you put him in a movie, how can you miss? Well, you do. Time after time, you miss. This doesn't work out very well.
So what's up with tomorrow?
I don't know, man. So what's up with tomorrow?
This is a movie about a musician playing a musician, so there's definitely some soundtrack to it.
Absolutely.
The movie starts off with a performance by Vanilla Ice.
6-minute performance.
The whole song.
It was amazing. Credits lasted that long too. That was the best part. How many people worked on this movie? We can stretch it for 6 minutes.
Yep. That's basically it. We'll do the whole song. So throughout the movie, you do have a couple other Vanilla Ice. I mean, he performs again in the small town club and sweeps the girl off her feet somehow. And then they circle each other like dogs at the end.
That was really awkward.
Strange.
Yeah. What was that?
And then there's another really bad Vanilla Ice song, like a love song, during their montage of really just spending time with each other.
Kiss your lips, hold on tight to your hips. Press your body real close, closer than most. In every glass, I'm gonna raise a toast to our love.
The other songs that were not Vanilla Ice, sort of, to me at least, are very nostalgic. There was some good dance / pop rap stuff from the early 90s that I'm like, oh man, I'm singing along to this movie and I don't want to be singing along to Cool as Ice. It's sort of like Crossroads. You have this time capsule of music from that era that if you were a fan of that music in that era, that's great for you. If not, then it just kind of, it wouldn't bother you if you didn't know those songs.
If you are a top-selling artist and you're in a film and your fans don't come to see you, what does that say? This had a $6 million budget.
And this is
$6 million budget.
Yeah.
That's not even that much to make up.
No.
You could stumble into a theater and find $6 million. Come on, it's not that bad. Any movie nowadays, that's simple.
Yeah.
It made $1.2 million.
He's making more than that, I'm sure, on his renovation show on HGTV or DIY or whatever it is.
So what happened? Where's the disconnect?
I don't know, and especially because you're considering this is before the internet.
Right.
So you have two people on TV that are telling you what movies are good.
And that was just...
And that hasn't stopped people before.
No, like in the 90s, you saw a person you like, you're going to go see the movie because you had no other person other than print
I feel
or
like
the TV telling
more
you.
people saw Ninja Turtles 2 because of Vanilla Ice than saw Cool as Ice.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Ow,
Use an ad for
that
like
hurts.
2 minutes.
Either they didn't market it, and so no one knew it was out there, which could have been, and they didn't release it in enough theaters for people to know, or everyone collectively said, we're not going to go see a movie with Vanilla Ice. Everyone, every single person in America was like, you know, I think we've had enough of this band.
This again.
So on the show, we like to give a rating system. If you haven't seen us before, our rating system starts here. We're not 2 thumbs up. We're not Siskel and Ebert because none of the movies we see would be 2 thumbs up. So we start here, and then it goes down to you can't see it or it's watchable. Okay, so I'm gonna put mine in the middle, straight up in the middle. I feel like this is my first time watching it. It was funny enough to see again. It's not one that you want to watch, but if it shows up on TV, like I'll tune in just to see him say a few lines. I mean, he's comical enough to make this work. So it's not the worst movie by far of what we've seen in the show. So I'm gonna put it right smack in the middle of this because I feel like you said, the 90s, and it's just fun. It's fun.
It is fun. Like I said, I can't count how many times I've seen this film. This is probably one of the first bad movies that I've watched over and over as a child. So to me, it's a little more nostalgic. I think his dialogue through the way he acts and his lines are just so absurd through the whole film that you've got catchphrases for days. And so I could pop it on. If he's on the screen, it's magic.
Yeah, no, yeah, so, good call.
So in between here and here, I'm gonna just slightly under.
Okay.
Slightly under.
Okay. If you like this episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave your comments down below. We'll be back next week on our podcast to review Cool as Ice and to make fun of it as much as we can. And we'll be back 2 weeks here with a brand new film to review for you.